Suffer this summer like the sun has gone away. I wouldn't change a day. Weather the winter like all in fuzz. You're watching the colors fade.
What you just heard is a demo that my friend Ben sent me. He wrote it very much inspired by Adrianne Lenker. So as I'm filming this video, it's basically the end of summer. Fall is just around the corner. When you're watching this, fall is probably falling. And I don't know, it just feels like the right time of year to put on a sweater and make a cozy singer-songwriter song. And yeah, in this video, I'm just trying to slow down the pace a little bit from what I usually do. I want to just authentically show you guys what it looks like to make a song with someone. And so we're going to make this over the next couple of weeks. We're not going to rush anything. We're going to let it breathe, let it happen. And yeah, so almost every project starts with a meeting of some sort to talk about what you're working on and figure things out in terms of the direction and stuff. So that's exactly what Ben and I did.
So everyone, this is Ben.
Hey guys.
I guess just to start, Ben, tell me a little bit about like where did that song come from and where do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Adrianne inspired through and through. You know, the heat of the summer, like playing music outside. I've seen some amazing stuff by her just in a garden, on a beach, that kind of stuff.
Did you have a vision for where it's going?
Yeah, absolutely. The core of that song is just the melody, the lyrics and the guitar, like, you know, as most songs probably should be, right? But yeah, it's just kind of trying to build that out in a very minimal way. Everything needs to be very, very thought out and very purposeful.
So when we're making this song, Ben and I are gonna have 3 goals that hopefully we'll be checking off by the end of the video. Ben knows that we have these goals, but it's the first time he's hearing them. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. So the first thing, I want us to record something to tape. I think you had a little tape recorder or something.
Yep.
But yeah, some kind of sound in there can be something that's prominent or something that's a lot more subtle and that we mess around with a lot. Because I know certainly, at least for her recent record, Bright Future, they recorded everything and mixed everything and mastered everything analog. They literally didn't look at a computer screen. I want to do a few little things that are just kind of an homage to that. Number 2, and again, we've talked about the natural themes and stuff, and that's a huge thing in Adrianne's music. I want to use at least one found sound in there, literally just as ambience or being a little more creative with it and turning that into some kind of instrument or something.
Yeah.
So the third thing, this is a bit of a silly one. So we have this friend named Harley. He's a cellist, great dude. Historically, I have known him for crying when he hears a song for the first time. So I think it would be really fun if we show this song to Harley, and the goal is to make him cry. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think that could be a nice little finale for the video.
So after we had this conversation, Ben wanted to retrack some of the stuff from the original demo and also just give me more layers and things to play around with as I made the rest of the song and the arrangement. So I'll let Ben take it away to show you what he did.
So for the acoustic guitar, we're going to start with this ribbon mic here. It's got this lovely, natural sounding high-end roll-off that's going to really bring us a lot closer to that tape sound we're looking for. So for the banjo part, I've decided to play part of the melody in this 6th picking pattern because it's just going to cut through quite easily. I'm also going to run it through this cassette player just to get that kind of tapey sound. It's not going to sound good, but maybe it'll sound great. I'm also going to double the picking pattern and the strumming pattern with a Nashville tuning. What I've also done is I've used this vibration killer. It's meant for tennis rackets, but sounds great if you're looking for that rubber bridge sound that I know is really popular at the minute. For the ambience in the track, the first thing I did was I found this old recording I did of the shoreline near my house in West Sussex. I'm also going to take some ambience from my garden. I'm just using a small diaphragm condenser, point directly into the grass. It's going to pick up some wind, probably some cars, some dog noises, maybe some crickets. What I'd love is to pick up some small birds like robins and tits. So what I've noticed in Adrianne's performance videos is that she uses a lot of the time a U87 microphone from Neumann. I don't have one of those, but what I do have is this 87 Star mic from
warm audio. It should get us in the ballpark for that sound.
All right, Ben and I talked like a while ago now. It's October, it's been like a few weeks at least. Yeah, Ben went in and retracked a bunch of stuff, then I got really busy, so yeah, totally my fault that this video is taking so long. But before I spend time like in the studio, working with what Ben sent me and just trying to produce out this track, I wanna like actively separate the songwriting stage and the production stage. I'm gonna fiddle around with that one verse that Ben's already written and just try to add to it, and well, you guys will be watching it happen. All right, so Ben sent me the chords and lyrics to what he wrote. I'll put that on the screen for you guys, but I'm probably not playing him exactly like him, but it'll be something kind of like this. Nope. Suffer the summer like the sun has gone away. I wouldn't change a day. I already had the idea of like continuing with like the suffer, like starting each verse, that being kind of like a little motif that continues. So I had one idea, so suffer in silence like the sun has run away. So I'm gonna just open up a little notes app and write this all down. Your breath is knocked away. Your breath is knocked away. That's interesting. That's like it's like getting winded. I have a soccer game tonight. I've gotten winded in soccer games before. It's not fun. Breath is knocked away. Not a word in edgeways. Not a word in edgeways. I mean, I'm kind of rhyming way with way, but I like that. Oh, hi Blue Jay. I guess I should also probably mention what I'm writing about. The answer is I don't really know, but I'm obviously trying to draw a bit from personal experience, and then also because I'm working on this with Ben, I'm thinking about Ben a little bit as well. Honestly, it's a big like time of change in both of our lives. I just finished my undergrad. I'm living at my parents for, you know, the next year or so as I kind of get things settled a bit. So yeah, a lot of change happening there. Ben just had a baby, so my shit is minuscule and compared to what he's got going on. But I know Ben is having the time of his life despite probably not sleeping very much. Along with all of the seasons changing imagery, this song is obviously gonna be about change, which I know is boring, but if you take a theme that big and that universal and you contrast the universal theme with something like hyper specific, that can be really powerful, and I think that's what I'm going for. All right, lyrics are coming a bit slowly, but I have an idea for a little change up of the chords. So the whole time we're not really playing the E string at all. The B string is kind of the top string that we're finger picking. So I'm thinking of changing that for the chorus, then just altering the way I play the chords a bit. So I'm thinking of this progression here, so. And then, and then to the 6. Interesting. All right, so I've got a DAW session here. Ben just sent me the stems of what he did. I plunked them down and then did some color coding and organizing because I like things to look pretty. So he retracked everything from that original demo, as you saw, and it sounds like this right now. I've muted a lot of the layers, which we'll kind of probably bring in later in the song.
Suffer the summer like the sun has gone away. I wouldn't change a day.
So basically my plan right now is I'm just gonna use these, I'm gonna copy and paste this like what, 16 bars as just to create like a rough structure. You'll kind of see me map out the song. But then from there I'm gonna re-record things. So first off, I'm just gonna slice up all these guitar and banjo parts so I can copy and paste them over nice and easily. I'm gonna label the sections at the top here. So this is verse 1, and then we're gonna have a second little verse here, and then we're gonna have a little violin solo here, and then verse 2. So we're gonna have a little bridge here after there's like an extra 2 bars put in there. So that's gonna be, and then a little verse outro there, which means we can blank. So as I was creating the arrangement and just figuring out how to structure the song and when to bring things in, I was thinking about what Ben had to say here.
I think in those intimate songs, like I think a big part is like tension release, in that like you can't have hundreds of layers, so all you can do is take away what you have and then put it back. And so in that case, you have to get creative of like, oh, do I double this with a banjo and then immediately take it away for a few bars and then bring it back in over that line, and do I swell this to the side slightly, and will that kind of keep momentum? And yeah, I guess momentum and tension release is kind of how I think about it.
Creating contrast and movement throughout a song can be through things that are really subtle things, but they make a difference in the overall progression of how a song moves.
Okay, I'm going to start by tracking just the full take of the acoustic part that I had in mind. So it's mostly just going to be that main part repeated. I might try a few different like finger picking patterns, and then there's going to be like a bridge that's different as well. All right, I didn't get it in one take, I messed up, but let's punch in around here. All right, now I just want to hear a few things in context. First off, I'm wondering whether we do my little strumming or my little picking pattern there in the left ear and then Ben's in the right ear. I'm gonna loop these little ambiance bits here. I think the idea is gonna be I'm gonna have these ambiance bits going throughout the song. All right, so I think we'll bring in some of these other layers that Ben recorded later on, like this banjo, probably because it is the most like distinctive thing that kind of pulls your ear a little bit. I'm thinking verse 2, we bring that in. Okay, I'm just listening to a lot of Ben's stuff. I really like the rubber bridge strum. I like a few of these strumming bits to just start giving a bit of drive as we move into the second verse. I think I'm almost definitely going to keep. But yeah, to be honest, and I may come back to them, but for now I'm not really feeling the Nashville, so I'm going to scratch those, and I'm actually going to get rid of a couple of these Nashville tracks, but I'm going to leave one because I'm going to re-record my own Nashville part that I think is a little more fitting with the song as it is now. All right, this is my Nashville guitar, and I'm gonna do my own Nashvilleification. All right, so I think I'm gonna record the Nashville like one chord at a time, which again, very much not in the spirit of the one take thing, but I'm bad at guitar, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But as much as I like that acoustic part I recorded, there is a lot of monotony there, because there's always that one note. And it's fine, it's nice to have a pedal point in a guitar or whatever, piano part, but like it just goes on for too long, it goes on for the whole song. So as we get into like the second verse, as we like repeat that part over and over again, I want to add in like a harmony part to that. So yeah, let's give this a try. All right, just recorded a bunch of individual chords I'm gonna try to splice together. I think that is lovely. It's doing exactly what I want and just pulling focus a little bit away from that one like droney string that strings out the whole time. All right, next I'm gonna record some fiddleification. So I've shown my string recording process on a couple other videos, but this is gonna be a bit different because those are kind of like layered cinematic string sections. This is just gonna be like a super raw, live sounding fiddle, which is really not my area of expertise. Any real fiddle players are gonna be absolutely cringing at what's about to come, but yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go in blind and lay down some ideas, just record some stuff, see what happens. That's often when the best ideas come out, I find, so I try to allow that to happen before I really think through all the parts and refine everything. Alright, so that was all played very badly, but I actually think I like most of the ideas in there. I'm probably gonna harmonize this. There's gonna be 2 violin parts, so let's just try some stuff.
By the way, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I wanted to do a very quick plug because Ben and I are both producers who work with indie artists. In fact, that's why I make these videos, so I can find awesome people like you to work with. So if you want to produce a song with me, or if you want to produce a song with Ben, or if you want to produce a song with me and Ben, please get in touch. The first few links in the description will be links to our pages where we both have forms that you can fill out if you want to get in touch and work on a project with us. So next we have to work on writing the lyrics and laying down the vocals. As is becoming a bit of a theme in this video, wise words from Ben were very influential in my decision making. So he said something really interesting about Adrianne's vocal layering, which I kept in mind as I was doing my layering.
I think one of the amazing things with her vocals is that they are layered, like they're definitely layered all through her album, but the core is always that one take, that one vocal take that she's using to express the song. And I think when she has a harmony or when she has a double, she practices and she gets the timing good, but she's, her producer, her engineer, they're not using vocal line to get everything smooth.
No.
They're not doing hard left rights. They're not doing, big stacks of vocals. It's all about that initial take. It's not these big, like lush, reverby vocals. It's just almost highlighting imperfections in, I don't want to say her voice is imperfect because she's an amazing voice, but I mean highlighting those nuances in a voice that is so unique to her.
So I kept this all in mind as I was layering vocals for this song.
Alright, I'm going to record the lead vocal now, again, just on the sphere, and I'm going to keep about a foot of distance from the mic. I want to get a bit of the room in there. I often, with the style of music I do, I record like up here, but it's not really what I'm going for here. I'm just going for like a nice kind of chilled back live sound. So yeah, let's give it a go. Suffer the summer like the sun has gone away. I wouldn't change a day. Weather the winter like all of us here, watching the colors fade. Alright, I don't want to give away too much of the vocal melody before the final clip in this video, so I'm just going to leave it there for now, but stay tuned until the end where you'll obviously hear the final song and all of the final vocals. Alright, I just want to record a little shaker in here. Suffer the summer like the sun has gone away. I like that, it just adds something, but gonna make it a little bit lower in the mix. Feel a thing. Can't decide where to bring in the shaker, but plenty of time to figure that out. I have another idea I really want to try out. This is an ebow, which you use on a guitar to get like a sustained sound on a string. So ebows are mostly used on electric guitars, but even on acoustics you can get kind of a normal sustained sound. Or if you touch the string a little bit, you can get this really cool rattly sound, which I find personally a lot more intriguing. And I'm gonna record some of those. And I'm trying to basically just use my first take almost all the time. I'm gonna use just a touch of Gullfoss to make these guys kind of sit in the mix a bit better. Speaking of the mix, if you look here, I'm doing very, very, very little across the board right now. And so far I haven't used a single reverb. I may in the future, but I'm really going for a live sound. And yeah, this sound is really all about getting it right at the source. And the good news is getting it right, as you've seen in this video, can look like just about anything. It can look like using vintage equipment, even cheap vintage equipment like that little cassette player that Ben has, or here it can look like using some digital emulation mic to do everything, right? Like, these are highly different methods, but they achieve similar results. So whatever you have at your disposal, you can make it work. I also wanted to mess around with this taped banjo sound. So I've reversed the taped banjo. But I'm gonna try, as if the cassette tape wasn't enough, I'm gonna do even more weird shit to it. Let's see. I'm going to use Lossy by Goodhertz to just add some digital degradation to the sound. We just drown that out. That's pretty wild. Let's listen to that in context. Cool little tape sound there. It's a bit chaotic, but we'll see how that sits with, like, once everything's properly in there.
So that was pretty much the process. I had Ben retrack some harmonies for the vocal parts that I wrote. He also did a couple little things like adding some more strummed guitars to the bridge. Otherwise, I rounded things out on my end, just finishing up the vocals and the string layers. And I'll play you the final thing in a second, but first I want to kind of talk about one main takeaway I had from the experience of making this song. I'm not Adrianne, and I don't think the song that Ben and I made is exactly like Adrianne, although it was, of course, very inspired by her. But I'm a very different musician to Adrianne. She's a much better guitar player and lyricist and stuff than I am. But I still think that Ben and I created a piece of art that is truly unique to us and that we're both very proud of and we think has artistic merit, whatever that means. And we did it in a really different way than Adrianne does because, you know, she might record everything and mix and master everything completely analog. I use a bunch of like digital recreations of analog gear and stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we're making art and that can look very different for different people. So just don't get too caught up in the process. Your process is your process, and that's great, and you don't have to do anything like anyone else to create a piece of art that is worthy of you and your time. Yeah, so those are just kind of some thoughts I had when I was making this. All right, that's about it. Here's the final song.
All right, hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good. I see Ben has brought the baby along.
Yeah. She might make some noise of her own, but we'll see what happens.
All right, you ready? Let's do this.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Suffer the summer like the sun has gone away. I wouldn't change a day. Weather the winter like all of us. You're watching the colors fade. Suffer in silence like your breath is knocked away. Not a word in edgeways. Melodramatic since the very first day. I still can't feel a thing. Childhood friend through trauma, trials, and hell. I've forgotten how it felt. Now we're running together, paths parallel. There's light but no tunnel. I don't wanna change, but I hate this wave. Living without saying anything to break out of this spiral. I just wanna be grinning through my teeth, running in the weeds, barefoot on the beach. Oh, where did it go? Pleasure to see you like it always is. I think about you and your kids. The fall is fallen, the spring has come and gone, but I won't miss them.
That's so beautiful. Guys, that's so beautiful. Weirdly, the thing that got me most emotional is when the banjo came in.
Yeah. That was all Ben. Ben nailed that banjo.
I will say, I think, for me, I'm biased, But cello is better than violin.
Yeah, well.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, we'll settle the score in a later video, I think. That's the idea there.